For my presentation, I was tasked with researching the effectiveness of drug courts. What is a drug court? Drug courts are an alternative to incarceration. Drug courts combine treatment with incentives and sanctions, as well as mandatory and random drug tests. They have been operating in the US for over 20 years. They operate on a local level to divert nonviolent offenders with substance use problems from incarceration into supervised treatment. There are three types of drug courts. Adult focuses on adults convicted of felonies and misdemeanors and provides access to treatment for substance abuse and minimizing incarceration. Juvenile, which focuses on delinquency matters of substance abusing juveniles by offering immediate and intensive intervention. Drug dependent focuses on cases involving parental rights by giving the parent necessary parenting skills and treatment for their substance abuse. Some numbers and statistics. The drug court movement continues to grow. Since 1989, drug courts have been established or are being planned in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, the Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, Guam, and in nearly 90 tribal locations. There are more than 2,500 programs across the United States. 47% of counties in the U.S. are served by drug courts. Drug courts reduce crime by 8 to 26%, and well-administered drug courts were found to reduce crime by 35%. The success of drug courts has led to development of tribal wellness, veterans treatment, mentally ill offender community, and family treatment courts. The treatment plan, most courts have 3 phases of treatment. The first step is stabilization. This could involve treatment for medical or mental disorders as well as a detox from substances. The second step is intensive treatment. This usually lasts for several months. This step offers participants help with their sobriety, like finding a job and getting an education. Some programs require participants to have a job during treatment. The final step is a transition. The transition stage is so participants stay sober and continue being pro-social as they leave intense treatment and become more independent. The keys to success for these programs are an integration of alcohol and other drug treatment services within justice system case processing, a non-adversarial approach through which prosecution and defense counsel promote public safety while protecting participants' due process rights, early identification of eligible participants and prompt placement in the drug court, access to continuous alcohol, drug, and other treatment and rehabilitation services, frequent alcohol and other drug testing to monitor abstinence, a coordinated strategy governing drug court responses to participants' compliance or noncompliance, ongoing judicial interaction with each participant, monitoring and evaluation to measure achievement of program goals and gauge effectiveness, continuing education to promote effective drug court planning, implementation, and operations, and then finally partnerships among drug courts, public agencies, and community-based organizations to generate local support and enhance drug court program effectiveness. Training within these programs to maintain efficiency and improve operation. The NDCI, which is the National Drug Court Institute, provides education, training, and technical assistance to all drug courts. The NCDI is supported by several agencies, which is the U.S. Department of Justice and Office of Justice Programs, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. Reducing recidivism, which is the tendency of a convicted criminal to reoffend. Drug courts have been found to have a small effect on recidivism rates by 7.5%. Another study found that recidivism rates of participants was 45% compared to the 55% of non-participants. It is found that the longer time in between these follow-ups for drug court graduates, the lower the rate of recidivism. Reducing substance use. Drug court participants demonstrate lower rates of substance use after program completion. However, if they do have a relapse, they require less treatment time, and then these improvements last several years after treatment. Reducing costs. A study determined that for each participant, the county saved $1,442. The study included cost of arrest, booking, time in court, jail and prison, treatment, and probation services. Funding comes from grants such as the Bureau of Justice, which supports law enforcement, courts, corrections, treatment, victim services, technology, and prevention initiatives. And then funding is also provided through programs such as Adult Drug Court Grant Program and Veterans Treatment Court Grant Program. And then President Obama's FY 2012 budget request includes approximately 101 million for drug, mental health, and other problem-solving courts, including veterans treatment, tribal healing to wellness, and family dependency treatment courts. The NCDI keeps an updated list of grants on their website. Research. Drug courts are recommended to have a method of data collection. Data is collected on participants' demographics and compliance. They also record future arrests and convictions. In order to figure out the effectiveness, the goal is to follow participants as long as possible, preferably several years. The research is used to determine how effective these treatments are in preventing relapse. Finally, are they effective? Considering all the studies done to determine costs and effectiveness of drug courts, in my personal opinion, I think they are effective. With their help, there's a decline in relapse and repeated crime. I personally always thought that those with an addiction need help and support from the government instead of just being thrown in jail. So when they get out, they just repeat the crime and further their addiction. So with these drug courts, participants are allowed to get sober, find a job, and even further their education. Do they deserve funding? The question is if they deserve funding. Yes, they do. For these programs to maintain the effectiveness and success that they have, they need funding. If they don't have funding, they don't have the funding they need, they will be forced to cut corners or will be unable to provide help to as many people possible. So, these are my sources. I really only use like these 3 websites for my whole project. Thank you.